This is Rummy's Corner. Say it with me now. I don't know shit about boxing. Saturday night from the Co-op Live Arena in Manchester, in a heavyweight championship fight that was streamed exclusively on DAZN, Fabio Wardley made the first defense of his WBO championship against former IBF heavyweight champion Daniel Dubois. Right out of the gate, Wardley dropped Dubois with a big right hand. It was a heavy-handed swing that caught Dubois up near the top of his head, and Dubois was simply overpowered by the sheer force of the punch. To his credit, Dubois beat the count and did not appear panicked. He went back to boxing, and before long he landed a decent right of his own. Next thing you know, Dubois charged in and tackled Wardley down hard to the canvas. Wardley was trying to find a way to land another big right, but he was loading up and missing the mark. Meanwhile, Dubois had recovered from the knockdown and was looking to box his way back into it. Dubois began boxing a bit more assertively to start the second, and it was quickly paying off, but Dubois wasn't overdoing it, however. He was boxing effectively and patiently and staying within himself, allowing his offense to naturally develop. It was a good bounce back round for Dubois, where he was countering effectively and Wardley was having difficulty finding the mark with his right. Dubois resumed boxing well in round 3, but then out of nowhere, Wardley landed another big right that prompted Dubois to take a knee, scoring an official knockdown in the process. It was another right hand that landed a bit higher on the head, and knowing he was hurt and off balance, the decision to take the knee may have saved Dubois from a more severe follow-up. Dubois beat the count, and when action resumed, Wardley missed badly with another loaded right. Dubois seemed to quickly regain his composure and went back to the jab. Dubois landed a big right hand of his own, and Wardley took it well. Dubois was doing a good job slipping the right and making Wardley miss wildly. Dubois began the 4th round jabbing, and Wardley began the round missing badly with yet another loaded right hand. This would become a decisive trend the rest of the way. Dubois was boxing patiently, working behind the jab, and attacking with more intensity whenever the opportunities presented themselves. Whereas Wardley was looking to load up with another big right like the two that had already dropped Dubois. But Dubois was the one having more success with his right, which began sneaking in more and more often. Wardley was still generally missing whenever he loaded up, but some were getting through, and Dubois was absorbing them much better when they were more toward the chin and less near the top of the head. But by and large, Dubois was comfortably winning the boxing match. He was building momentum and confidence, and Wardley was not doing a whole lot to try and set up that right hand. As things approached the halfway point in the scheduled 12-rounder, Dubois was in control of the action, and aside from the 2 moments he was dropped, he was otherwise in the driver's seat. Dubois had Wardley hurt toward the end of round 6, and Wardley was bloodied up with impaired vision, compliments of Dubois' methodical offense. It was basically all Dubois the rest of the way, where at times it almost looked like target practice. To his credit, Wardley showed incredible heart, and he was absorbing a tremendous amount of punishment. Wardley never stopped trying, but he was still missing badly and wildly whenever he loaded up to launch a big right. Dubois' subtle defense was allowing him to avoid the incoming fire, and his patient approach was allowing his offense to flow with a very nice rhythm. Wardley couldn't disrupt that rhythm. His punches no longer had the same steam, and by the end of the 8th he appeared to be on very uneasy legs, and I actually thought his corner might be tempted to wave it off. Wardley's eye was checked out prior to the start of the 9th, and the fight went on. Wardley continued displaying amazing heart and courage, and he continued trying his best to win, even landing a big right that Dubois absorbed in stride. And he also landed one hell of an uppercut. But Dubois was simply in the zone, and he had Wardley badly hurt again toward the end of the 9th, but Wardley somehow managed to remain on his feet. Wardley looked off balance before the 10th even began, where his injuries were once again examined, and once again, the fight went on. But at this point, Wardley was clearly exhausted as much as anything. He had absorbed a terrible prolonged beating, and he was undoubtedly having difficulty seeing and breathing. Wardley's balance looked awful throughout the round, and despite his best efforts to land a fight-changing punch, Dubois was too fresh, too disciplined, and too consistent. Amazingly, Wardley survived the round, but an explosive combination from Dubois early in the 11th finally prompted referee Howard Foster to mercifully wave it off. The fight was over. It was an 11th round stoppage victory for Daniel Dubois, and with that victory, Daniel Dubois is the new WBO heavyweight champion, marking him as a 2-time heavyweight champion. And honestly, it was a terrific effort from Dubois, and he proved me wrong in this one, where I thought Wardley would prove mentally tougher in a war of attrition. But the big difference in this one, I think it actually came down to the fact that Wardley was trying to force the issue, where he missed and missed badly with some wild right hands, and he was never doing a whole lot to set up the big right. On the other hand, Dubois boxed patiently and intelligently, and he allowed his offense to naturally develop more organically. That was the big difference in this one. With Dubois once again holding a major world title, what's next? Well, we have already seen Dubois knocked out on 2 occasions by the reigning heavyweight king, Alexander Usyk. I don't think anyone really wants to see that again, nor do I think there is any reason to do that one again. Usyk clearly has Dubois' number, but there are still a lot of damn interesting fights out there for Dubois. Frank Warren confirmed that there is a rematch clause for this one, and I don't think anyone would be mad if these two ran it back, although I imagine Wardley would need a nice spell of recovery after such a taxing affair. But there are other interesting fights against other top 10 guys, where I think a rematch with Hrgovic has potential to be a good one too, provided he beats Allen this weekend, coming up the 16th of May on DAZN. And of course, the young powerhouse, Moses Itauma. Who wouldn't want to see that one? Whatever happens next, I for one will be tuning in. Congratulations to Daniel Dubois, and best of luck to Dubois and Wardley moving forward. The Wardley-Dubois WBO Championship fight was streamed live on DAZN, and we have another heavyweight championship fight coming up this month on DAZN. On the 23rd of May, from the pyramids of Giza, undefeated heavyweight world champion Alexander Usyk is back in action, and he will be going up against one of the greatest heavyweight kickboxing champions in history, Rico Verhoeven. So what did you think about Daniel Dubois' victory against Fabio Wardley? Please let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed, and have a wonderful night. This is Rummy's Corner.